2010 Supercars champion and multi-time race winner James Courtney is one hell of a cunning driver and has one of the longest careers on the Supercars grid today. But did you know James was very close to not having a career in Supercars at all? The former champion has spent nearly 2 decades within the Supercars world, but did you know he got his start in Formula Racing and was doing quite well? After years of winning across the world, James Courtney found himself well within the grasps of the British F3 Championship and so damn close to an F1 seat with the Jaguar F1 team. As a Jaguar Junior, he did a lot of testing for the teams with some of their experimental parts, and unfortunately at Monza in 2002 fell victim to a crash that would end his F1 career. Now James Courtney is no stranger to crashes, and no stranger to big ones at that. He's had multiple injuries across his Supercars career, but this was unlike any other. The crash was an estimated 67 Gs, which is 67 times the force of gravity itself. It wasn't your typical accident, and he was very lucky to have survived this. One of the memories that he has of being in this incident is waking up and seeing Michael Schumacher come to his rescue and help the Italian marshals translate to him and be able to get him from that wreck, which ironically he was able to help Michael Schumacher when he crashed at the exact same place in testing a year previous. However, the repercussions of this incident were very severe. He couldn't walk properly for almost a year. He struggled with migraines for so long, and getting back into an F1 car, one of the most physically demanding cars in the world at the time, that seemed like a pipe dream at best. So he did what he thought he could do best and moved to another series, moved to Japan, moved back to Australia, where he eventually found his home in the Supercars Championship. Now, I know what you're gonna ask. How is this crash any different? Well, the answer is Monza. Monza, aka the Temple of Speed, is an incredibly fast track, especially for a young gun in an experimental car with some potentially unstable parts. Even at the best of times, an accident around Monza can be genuinely serious and scary as well, genuinely frightening. So many experienced World Championship caliber drivers have had big shunts at this place. It's no surprise that a rookie doing testing in what would be quite volatile equipment would have a crash like this, and eventually they did. Courtney's rear suspension had failed, meaning that his brakes had also failed, and he was sent into the wall at over 300 k's an hour, which is a ludicrous amount of speed to carry into a barrier. He got sent back onto the track at 70 k's an hour after impact. That is crazy, and the amount of damage that does to your body. He was unable to see for weeks, he was bleeding from his eyes. It's not a low impact, that was crazy, and it changed the trajectory of his racing career completely. He went from being the next big thing in F1 to the likes of Sebastian Vettel to now being in a hospital bed and having to reassess his career. It's a big change, and it was sad to see that, he was out of his career. To give a better in-depth explanation of the incident, I've got a clip here from James Courtney describing how he felt and what exactly happened. Listen.
What was the car like to drive?
It was just mind-boggling, really. I drove Formula 3 cars, and I did some F3000 testing, which is like GP2. So you drive a lot of fast things, and you think you got a pretty good understanding of what it's going to be like, but nothing even comes close to the amount of acceleration and braking that thing has. Cornering was about the same as the F3000 Formula 3 car, but the acceleration was just really. Being the test driver, I got to test a lot of experimental stuff, so it was all through the phasing of traction controls and auto upshift and downshift and all the active diffs and the flexi wings and all that sort of stuff. So we had a lot of wing failures, suspension failures and all that sort of stuff, and unfortunately I was in the car for a lot of them. And that incident you're talking about was in 2002. I was at Monza, one of the fastest. We were doing 370 something kilometers an hour, and I had a rear suspension failure. So it says the bottom wishbone broke off the back of the gearbox. So that in turn pulled the rear floor off the side pod, the rear wing, pulled the brake line out, obviously, because the whole corner's ripped off. So then you don't have any brakes. So I still hit the wall doing 325 kilometers an hour. I wasn't feeling too great after that. It was was all paralysed on the right side of my body for a while, and wasn't allowed to race for quite a lengthy period of time because there was a lot of swelling in my brain and bleeding on the brain, so I had to go and get that checked a lot.
This is an incident that could very well have killed him, and he was very lucky to walk away, being able to race again in the future. And we're very lucky to have had Schumacher as his saving angel for the incident. It's truly those critical seconds that matter, and Michael Schumacher's made the difference, and we have him to thank partially for this. But part of me wonders, without the crash, what would have happened to James Courtney? Would he have come to Supercars and become the champion, multi-time race winner that he is, the well-respected and crafty driver that he is? Would we have gotten that amazing 2010 race? You know the race that I'm talking about, they're all in the fence. Or would we have gotten a James Courtney F1 career with a potential F1 championship with the soon-to-be Red Bull F1 team? It's an internal what if. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.